Go here.
Should be live. I have to put on my Facebook a little later, man. You boy, dope, man. One West.
All right, let's do a sound check. Testing.
Yeah, it worked.
It's definitely working. So, Trooper Kodashi Allah, Shalom on Christ side.
Good boy, I know.
All right,
Oh, damn, get my Bible. I'm doing all this my damn talk.
All right, Slacker, just give us one moment.
Oh, we good.
Cool. No, just all right, Shalom on Christ Israel. Shalom Yabashim Yashai Brakathum to the brothers. Shalom Yahweh Shema Atha Bashim Yahweh Shai to the sisters. We at the Isupk Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. And we are not affiliated with any other Hebrew Israelite group.
Right.
Salakia. We had a couple of technical difficulties, but you know, that's just Satan trying to stop us from teaching the word of the Lord. But we still here though.
Right.
So, you know, don't get it twisted. We still gonna have the Sabbath. Now, with that being said, brief recap. So we're gonna be going over Genesis. We want to start at 3:24.
Genesis 3:24 through 4:8.
So,
come on, sir.
A little bit of a brief recap. Again, you know how we do. We're going through the whole Bible.
Right.
We're going verse by verse, chapter by chapter. So now, just last week,
7. Slacky.
huh?
7.
So we talk about.
It's gonna be 4 through 7. I mean, chapter 4 is gonna end at verse 7. Slacky.
You want that 7? It's the wild.
Yeah, I had put 8, but I mean,
no,
I mean
it's the
7.
wild. No, anyway, it's
Yeah,
all good. But we're gonna be going over again. Now we're kind of getting out of the creation.
Right.
So last week we talked about what happened in the Garden of Eden. We talked about the Salakia, how can I say this? I'm just gonna say what it is. The sin that Adam and Eve committed,
Right.
and sadly, because of their choices, the world fell into sin.
Right.
So, but we'll get more into that once we get started with class. But then we're gonna, of course, get to chapter 4, give the breakdown, and we're gonna be talking a little bit about Cain and Abel. But I don't want to give it away too much. You got anything before we start?
I would like to say Salakia. Last week I did miss, not of my own reconnaissance. I can't tell you why, but you know, it was Satan. You know, I had to go sit down for a moment, but I'm here now.
Exactly.
I hope you missed me because I missed you.
No sign of Christ.
Yeah.
Now, clap it up.
Yeah.
Like I said, Satan gonna do what he can to stop the priest of the Lord, but we still gonna be here.
Right.
All right. We still gonna do what we have to do. You're not stopping this truth.
Right.
So, with that being said, Amayim, just being the brother up here, which means to stand.
Water. What's that crack?
Sorry, it's me. Sorry.
La Yashala, which means to Israel or for Israel.
Sorry, it's me. Sorry.
Salaka. Why can't I do it? You swallow. It's up.
Take it right back. this off, face me. Got it. All right, sorry.
Amayim Wapanya Hakodam, which means to rise and face the east. We'll be doing the prayers in the Hebrew and then the English. This is the Lord's Prayer. Abanaw, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Haya, Shamka, Yahweh, Malak Waka, Ratazaka, Haya, Aisha, Rataza, Kawa, Haya, Shemayim, Nathan Lanawa, Nakam, Paul, the woman, Basalak Lanawa, Kawawaf Yanawa, Kasalak Nawa, Kawawaf Yanawa, Wala'a, Tabiya Anawa, Manasaya one, Abal, Awashai Nawa. Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalak, Waha'ala, Wahatap Ha'arath, I William, Aman.
Now this is the Lord's Prayer in the English. Our Father,
which
art in heaven.
Hallowed
be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Yahweh.
Thy
kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Will be done.
Thy will be done
In earth. As it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread.
Our daily bread.
Forgive us our debts.
And forgive us our debts.
As we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
Lead us not
into temptation.
But deliver us
From evil.
Thine is
the kingdom and the power and the glory forever.
So be it.
Amen. Hakak, the power. Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushua. Baba Kushah. The thunder now. Hakak. La'pa'ah. Kal Maka'Allah. Wakal Madawa. Hakak. That's a heart. Hamat is a ram. Hakak. La'koyim. Hakak. Al-Rakwaf. That's Ma'ala. Garshan. Ba'ashem. Yahushua. Water.
Amen. Now in the English. Yahweh.
In
the name of Yahushua.
In the name of Yahushua.
Please
give
us the power. Power to heal.
The power to heal.
All manner of sickness.
And all manner of
And all manner of disease.
Power to cleanse the lepers.
Power to raise the dead.
Power to raise the dead.
Power
against unclean spirits.
To cast them out.
In the
name of Yahushua.
In the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it. This is the blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh. Why Yahushua? Why my Ka'ala? Why Alahayim? Why Zab Ya'ah? Alawap Yahan. Alawap Yam. Wasa Runyon. Wasa Yonyum. Wasa Yoyum. Wahawa Akyum. Yahweh. Ba'ashem. Yahushua.
Amen. Now in the English. Bless you, Yahweh. And Yahushua. And Mike. And the angel. Commanding General Yahweh. The general. The captain. The officer. The troop. And the sister. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you.
So be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Yanya, all, Ahoyim, Mayan, Yaba'ah, Azoya, Ma'ain, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayim, Rataza, Ayatan, Namawat, Wagarka, all Yanawam, Shabarka, Na'ah, Yanawam, Wala'ah, Yagashan, Shawamar, Yasha'ala, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Zalka, Al-Yad, Yanyakat, Yawamam, Hashemash, La'ah, Yakaka, Wayrak, Malayala, Yahweh, Yashmarka, Makal, Ride, Yashmar, After the Pashka, Yahweh, Yashmar, After, Wa'aka, Ma'ata, I will.
This is Psalms 121 in the English. I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
From
whence cometh my
My
help?
help cometh from the Lord.
My help coming from the Lord,
which made heaven
and earth. He will not suffer thy foot
to be moved.
He that keepeth thee
will not slumber.
Behold,
he
that keepeth
Israel shall not slumber nor sleep.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy shade.
Upon
thy right
hand.
The sun shall not smite
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor
the moon by night.
The Lord shall preserve
The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy
The
soul.
Lord shall preserve thy
The Lord shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in.
and thy coming in. From this time forth
and
and even forevermore. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim, all Damayela come, all Taka Arash, all Tashaquat, all Kayahana, our Yabya come, Yahama Yawam, Ash, Al Aimaka, Yaiwa Yamwa, Sawada, Wayata, Yatazawa, Al Tazapawanyaka, Amawa, Lakawa, Walakakina, Magaria, Wala'a, Yazakar, Shom Yashala, Awada, Kaya, Nawatazawa, Naba. Yakadwa, Al Yakab, Arya, Yakarwathwa, Ahoya, Alawam, Wa, Yashima, Arayam, Mawaba, Hagaria, Babal, Wamawan, Wamalak, Shah, I'm Yashabi, War, Lomasha War, Nalawa, Amam, Hayawa, Zarawai, Banyala Wat, Salah, Aisha, the Hum, Kamadim, Kasaya, Sarah, Kayabyan, Bankal, Yashua, Nashamawat, Nashamawat. Bayan, Dara, Hayawa, the Mun, La Dama, Shatamu, Nada, Namawa, Kaira, Kazabak, Kal Nasiyakamwa, Ashar, Amarwa, Naira Shah.
They are shot.
Nanawa, Af, Nawa, Alahayam, Alahayam, Shatamu, Goggle, Quash, the Punya, Kaash, Ira, Wakalahaba, Talahat, Hoyam, Kun, Kavadatma, Masa Irika, Wabasa, Pathka, Mala, Panyaham, Palawam, Waya, Quashwa, Shamka, Yahawa, Bashwa, Waya, Ahawa, Ayah, Waya, Kapara, Waya, Abadwa, Waya, Dawa, Kaya, Adaf, Shamka, Yahawa, Nabaka, Ayuan, Alkal,
Rataza. This is Psalms 83 in the English. Keep not thy silence, O God.
Keep not thy silence, O God.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still.
And be not still,
O God.
For lo,
thine
enemies make a tumult.
They that hate thee.
And they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
They have taken
captive counsel
against thy
people.
and consulted
Against thy hidden ones.
They have said,
come,
and let us cut them off.
For
being a nation.
The
name of Israel.
That the name of Israel.
No more remember.
Maybe no one remembers.
But they have consulted together. One consent.
They are confederate against thee.
Tabernacles of
Edom. And Ishmaelites. And Moab. And the Hagarenes. Gabal. And Amalek. And the Philistines. With the inhabitants of Tyre.
A sword also is joined with them.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
Salah. Do unto them. As to the Midianites. As to Sisera. As to Jabin. At the brook of Kassan. Which perished at Endor. They became as dung for
the earth.
Make their nobles
like Oreb.
And like Zaid.
Yea.
All their princes.
As Abad. And as Amun.
Who said?
Let's take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. Oh my God. Make them like a wheel. As stubble before the wind. As fire burns the wood. As the flame sets the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest. Make them afraid.
And make them
afraid
with thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame.
They may seek
thy name. Oh Lord. Let them be confounded and troubled forever.
Yea.
Let them be put to shame
and perish.
That men may know
whose name alone. That men may know.
That thou,
whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high
of all the earth.
Good.
Record time.
Sorry, it's me.
That was record time. No, we know it by heart.
All right, maybe seated.
All right. So, 1 second.
All right, so we're gonna be reading. For those of y'all who might have not tuned in earlier, we're gonna be reading out of the book of Genesis. We're actually gonna start with chapter 3. We're going to start at verse 24. We're going to go down to 7. So chapter 4, 1 through 7. So we're actually going to do 8 verses today. But that's no sweat. It's more knowledge for everybody.
Right.
So let's see if I can fix this. Police officer Alatazar is going to be reading the Hebrew. He's going to be reading the first 8 verses in the Hebrew. And then we're going to continue with the breakdown in the English. All right. Keep that around. Yes. There we go.
All right. This is the book of Genesis, the 3rd chapter and 24th verse in the Paleo Hebrew, the ancient Hebrew. Wayagarash Ath Hadama Waya Shakan Makwadam Lagun Adan Ath Hakarbayam Wa'ath Wa'ath Lahat Hakarab Hamath Hapakath Lashamar Af Darak Atazah Hakayayam Genesis 4 verse 1 Yadai Af Kayab Asha Tawa Watahar Watala Af Koyan Wata Amar Kunaya Tawa Kunaya Taya Ayash Af Yahawah Wata Sapa Laladath Ata Akayawa Af Habal Wayahaya Habal Wa'aha Taza Ana, Wakwayan, Hayaha, Abad, Adama, Wayahaya, Makwataza, Yamayam, Wayaba'a, Kwayan, Maparya, Ha'adama, Malacha, Layahawa, Wahabal, Habaya'a, Gub, Hawa'a, Mabak, Rawath, Taza Anawa, Wama, Ka, Labahan, Wayashai, Yahawa, All Habal, Wa'al, Malacha, the Wa, Wa'al, Kwayan, Wa'al, Malakathwa, La'a, Sha'aha, Wayakar, Lakwayan, Ma'ad, Waya Palawa, Panyawa, Waya Amar, Yahawa, Al Kwayan, Lama, Korah, Laka, Walama, Napawa, Panyak, verse 7. Halawa Ama, Dayatawa, Daya Taya, Sha'ata, Wa'ama, La'a, Daya Taya, like it, Daya Taya, Lapataka, Ka, Ta'ata, Rabatazam, Wa'alahayak, the Shah, Wa, Quatwa, Damashah, Bawa.
All right, so for anybody who might now just be tuning in, we're going over the book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 24, which is the last verse in verse 3. That's not chapter 3. We're going from chapter 4 to verse 7.
Right.
So, quick recap again. We just recently went over what happened in the Garden of Eden, and of course, what happened and how Adam and Eve chose to sin against the Most High. And the big thing that I harped on last class, I kept saying the same thing over and over again. I said they knew better.
They knew better.
That's what I kept saying over and over and over again. I believe it's Peter chapter 2, verse 21, and it's also the book of Hebrews chapter 10, verse 26. And the reason why I harped on those verses so much, let's paraphrase them real quick. The reason why I harp on those so much is because a lot of people have this misconception that you can just sin. A lot of people don't know what sin is.
Right.
And also, it is better. Let me make this very clear. It's not good to sin. Matter of fact, if I could, before we even get into this, when you come over a lot of times, you mind getting, matter of fact, I'll get it real quick. 2 Peter 2 and 21, and
yes, sir.
Hebrews 10 and 26. Because I'm going to get everybody up to speed of what's
Let's
going
do it, sir.
quick.
This is education. This is a class right now. Now, I would hope people understand what this is. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. You are in class right now. Raise your hand. You want a question to be answered. We will give it to you. You say Hebrews 10.
Give me
Second Peter.
Second Peter 2 and 21 first. Salakia. Then we'll get Hebrews 10 and 26.
2 Peter 2 and 21. I am there. This is the book of 2 Peter, chapter 2, verse 21.
Go ahead.
For it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness than, after they have known it, to turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them.
So the reason why I harped on this one in Hebrews 10 and 26.
Yes, sir.
The reason why I harped on this so much last class is because at this time, there's a theme.
Right.
We kept talking about with Adam and Eve.
Right.
At this time period, they were instructed to not eat of the tree of good and evil.
Right.
Sadly, they chose to do that.
Right.
Eve was the first to do it, and sadly, she told her husband to.
Right.
And his sin was listening to his wife and going ahead and sinning as well. Now, why was this so bad? When it said, I'm paraphrasing, where the Most High breathed life into Adam,
The breath of life.
that didn't mean that he was the first man.
Right.
You know what I mean? What it is he made the law, the way of life, known unto Adam. So now he knows. That's my hope.
We're going to prove that.
Yeah, he knows. Now Adam knows, you know what? I shouldn't eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. And now if I could real quick, I want to touch on this small detail. This is before Leviticus.
We're going to harp on it today. I want you guys to know that.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is before Leviticus. This is before Moses.
Right.
This is before we're taken up out of Egypt. This is before all that. Even prior to that, there was a way.
Right.
There was a way of life that God made known unto Adam.
Right.
Adam was not the first man alive physically. He was the first man alive spiritually.
Male and female was created 6th day.
There you go.
Yes. 6th
So, again, he was alive spiritually. Now, whole point being is he knows better.
Right.
Now, Eve as well, she knew better, right? Where they erred, it was a lot. Not only did they sin, they knew not to sin. They knew God told me not to do this.
Right.
And they still did it. So now, if you could read from the top one more time, Baba Kasha. 2 Peter 2.
This is the book of 2 Peter, chapter 2, verse 21. For it had been better.
It'd be better
for them not to have known the way of righteousness than, after they have known it, to turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them.
Meaning what? Meaning you knew better. At one point in time, you didn't know I shouldn't steal. But at some point in time, you were taught you shouldn't steal. Now it's in your brain. You know what? I shouldn't do this because this is bad. I can get in trouble. I can get harmed. You know it's bad, right? But now you still choose to steal.
Right.
Now the consequences are that much greater because now you were instructed to not do this. That's what it says. I'm paraphrasing. It was better that you didn't even know.
Right.
It was better. Like if you eat pork, but you didn't know that you shouldn't eat pork. Now it's like, ooh, okay, you know what? You didn't know. You kind of have like a small grace.
Now, what's that?
What's up?
Ignorance is bliss.
Thank you.
That's that.
Ignorance is bliss. You didn't know better. It's like, oh, okay, my bad. But now you know, though. So now this goes into Hebrews 10 and 26.
Come on, let's go.
Go ahead.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 26.
Go ahead.
For if we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of the truth,
go ahead.
There remaineth no more sacrifice for sin.
And that's why I said the consequences are that much greater.
Right.
Think of it like with parent and child. You told your son, you got to be in the house at 9.
Right.
You tell your son that. And now he's like, oh, okay. My dad and my mom told me I got to be in at this time. Now your son show up at 10:30. You call on his phone like, where he at? Now he shows up. Now he wondering he got his PS5 taken away.
Come on.
He can't go outside now. Now he mad. Like, why can't I go out? Well, because I already told you not to do this. So now the same way you think of that is the same way this has happened unto Adam and Eve. This is why the world fell to sin. This is why they were cursed. And if I could, one more time, there's a theme. There's many themes throughout the Bible, right?
That is true.
The Lord, this is why you got to be so careful. The Lord might not just curse you. The Lord could curse you and your entire lineage. We haven't even gotten to it yet, but it's fine. I can just briefly talk about it. Ham. Ham, Japheth, and Shem.
Yep.
Now, at this time, we'll get into this eventually, but just so you have an understanding, at this time, Noah had 3 sons.
Right.
Now, 2 of his sons, they were honorable. Japheth and Shem. Japheth and Shem, when their father was drunk and he was, let's just say he was indecent.
Yeah.
And they decided to cover their father. They honored their father. Oh, Dad, this ain't his greatest moment, but we love our father. Let us cover him.
Right. And they walk backwards with it.
Exactly. Thank you.
They when you look at it, they grab the sheet or whatever towel.
Yeah.
They walk backwards to cover their father.
But why they walk backwards though?
Because you're not supposed to do that. And how did they know you're not supposed to see another man in that type of light?
Yep.
They knew the law.
Exactly.
How did they know the law? From their father, from Noah, who learned it from who? From his great-great-grandfather, Shem.
Right.
Who learned it from who? Adam. Anyway, it's like my bad.
No. But that's what I wanted to touch on. Like they knew better.
They knew better.
That's the theme, right? Ham, on the other hand, he decided to mock his father. He laughed.
Right.
So you want to know what happened? Noah, at this time, he had power, right? Because he followed what the Most High told him to do. Again, it's a theme, right?
Come on.
He listened. Ham decided to mock his father. So you want to know what happened? His son, Canaan, was cursed to be a servant of servants. Not even, I want to touch on that. Not just servants of like other nations. Servant of servants. Meaning like you're like the bottom of the barrel. There were Hamites that served other Hamites. Odds are it was probably Canaan. At one time period, we took over the land of Canaan. Before it was Israel, we took over the land of Canaan. Why? But why did that happen? Because they were cursed. Same way Israel is cursed, because when you go to Deuteronomy 28:15, and it says, if thou shalt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, then these curses shall fall upon thee. Cool. My whole point being is curses, right? Punishments, consequences for your actions.
Right.
That was the whole theme of last class, right? And I don't want to give it away, but you'll see a recurring theme as we continue. So now that we kind of got caught up on that, now we're going to start from Genesis chapter 3, verse 24. And you go to go.
Let's go. All right. So this is the book of Genesis chapter 3, verse 24.
Go ahead.
So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubim and a flaming sword which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. Let's figure out what the word cherubim means. Every person in this school should have a Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Let's look up cherubim. This is on page 104 and 105 in your Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Cherub or cherubim. KJV has cherubims. Outside the Bible, the English plural is cherubs. Cherubim are living heavenly creatures in winged human animal form with the faces of lion, ox, man, and eagle. Now, a cherubim is basically an angel. That's all you see.
Exactly.
Now, what you're reading, once we break it down to you what this is in Genesis 3 and 24, once you understand what it is, it makes sense. This said, so after the man sinned and kicked Adam and Eve out of the Garden of Eden, verse 24, so he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubim and a flaming sword which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. So there are angels. So cherubim it's a plural of multiple angels. There are angels in this flaming sword, meaning if you go here, it's going to beat you down so bad, it's going to attack you, it's going to unalive you if you go in this place. Mm-hmm. Right now, you can't physically see the angels, but spiritually, the angels that were placed in the Garden of Eden at that time, their Adam time, they're still there now. How do I know this? There is a food shortage in the Garden of Eden. If you don't know what the Garden of Eden is, you go look at our last class. It's pretty much like over there by Saudi Arabia. That is the Middle East. From the bottom of Turkey, where that river is at, I believe that's the Red Sea, going all the way down from the top to the bottom, that is in Jordan. All that is the Middle East. That is the Garden of Eden. That is our land. Right now, they cannot produce enough food to sustain them because of the climate and because of the soil. What that shows you, that is a plague. If I may,
go ahead.
There is a precept that I would like to get. Ecclesiasticus 39 and 28. This is in the Apocrypha. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. The Lord placed these particular angels here to make sure that the people that he chose can't get back into that land until he wants them to get back into that land. That land really is uninhabitable. Those people in Saudi Arabia, they cannot grow their own food. They have to go to, they are the biggest importers in the world. They have to import food and vegetation to sustain the people there. They can't sustain themselves. Or if they don't do that, if they don't import, they have to buy farms in other countries and other land masses to help produce what they need. So they will buy a farm in Uganda, and this farm in Uganda only produces food for the people there. That's a drought. That's a food shortage. That's an angel. That is a plague. There's another plague. The water over there is drying up for years. They even have to import that to sustain themselves. That Garden of Eden, when them cherubims was placed, was to let you know, even if you do go back, it will not produce what it produced. You will not be able to walk through the cool of the day in the Garden of Eden. If we go to the Garden of Eden now, guess what? There are other nations there. that nations that don't like you. There is war going on in the Middle East right now. Right. There are people that will lock you up and get you up out of there for no reason, just because of who you are. There are angels there right now. You physically can't see them, but spiritually, when you break down the problems of what's going on in the Middle East, you can't go there right now. What's happening right now is for you to be able, for the Lord to move them angels out the way so we can get back to that land. That's Genesis 3:24. I pray you understand. Slap. You got anything, sir?
No, I'm good. You
okay.
Go ahead.
So let's go to Genesis chapter 4, all right, verse 1. And I would like everybody to tap in to what this is. It's not just basic. This is a real deal class. You're being taught right now. And Adam knew Eve, his wife. So I know you want to touch on that right quick.
So you already know.
Yes.
All right. So what it says, in Adam knew Eve, his wife, right? So, okay. You'll hear entice a maid. It's Exodus.
I know.
Real quick.
I got you.
All right. So there's a phrase in the Bible that you'll hear. All right. I'm not gonna get too off topic, but it's just something to kind of put in your back pocket. Something that you should know about the Bible. Where it says, in Adam knew Eve, his wife, there's something that's followed after that. And it says, you can hold that, I'm gonna read this real quick. And it says, and she conceived and bare Cain and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. Now, you got that one?
Yes, sir.
If you could,
the book of Exodus, chapter 22, verse 16. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife.
Now, those who have been in school long enough, you know this.
Right.
We preach this indefinitely.
Right.
Sex is marriage.
Right.
You got your Zondervans?
I do.
You can look up the definition of marriage in the Zondervans, right? Again, like, I don't want anybody to think we're lying. This is something that you hear quite a bit that we teach in the school. And that is, sex is marriage. And we're going to prove that through the Bible and the Zondervan's Compact Bible Dictionary. You got it?
Marriage. This is in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, page 345. Marriage is an intimate personal union to which a man and woman, cat and woman,
dog and man,
man and woman,
go ahead,
consent,
go ahead,
consummated and continuously nourished by sexual intercourse.
Now, that's where we get the saying, sex is marriage. Now, we already knew that Adam and Eve were husband and wife.
Right.
How, though? At that time period, it's now in today's age, the American custom is, for that to be your wife, there's like legal things you got to do, the ring, you got the ceremony, you got to go to like a church, well, something like that, right? That's what they consider a wife here today. Right. However, for those of y'all who say y'all believe in the Bible, okay, when you have sex with a woman, that's your wife.
Right.
Since you have sex with that man, that's your husband. Not because I said so. Not because this brother said so. Because God said so. If you believe in the Bible. I'm just throwing that out there. So, this is what I want to touch on. Adam and Eve became husband and wife because why? They had sex.
Right.
That's what happened. All right. There was no ring. There was no ceremony. It's not wrong to have a ceremony. When Jacob was about to get married, they do a little party and stuff like that. Like, it's good to celebrate marriage. It's cool. But you need to understand that the celebration is not what signifies the marriage. You being intimate with that woman, sis, you being intimate with that man, that is what consummates the marriage. Right. Now, peep how it says continuously. Look, I ain't trying to be too vulgar, but I'll put it like this. The Lord wants you to be fruitful and multiply. Okay? He wants you to be intimate with each other. That's your wife. That's your husband. Right. It's good to do that, right? There's nothing wrong with that. That's why, like, when Christians, modern day Christians today, they say, "Oh, you had sex before marriage." You're wrong because they believe in the Immaculate Conception and all this. That's a whole nother breakdown. We ain't gonna touch on that today. But my point being is, little do they know, you didn't have sex before marriage. The sex was the marriage.
Right.
Before y'all did what y'all did, y'all weren't married.
Right.
Y'all were promised to each other.
Right.
I guess you could say y'all were engaged.
Right.
You could say that, right? So now let's get back to Genesis 4, where it says, and Adam knew Eve, his wife. That means that he had sex with his wife.
Right.
Because then it's followed with, and she conceived and bare Cain.
Right.
So he knew his wife, meaning he got intimate with his wife. He knows his wife. I'm going to just leave it at that, right? So now we just read that now Cain came out of the lineage of Adam and Eve.
Right.
You got anything before we get to verse 2?
Well, sir.
Go ahead.
Oh, if I may,
Go ahead.
in verse 1, and I want to set the precedence of this. You have verse 1 alone is a 9 to 10 month time frame.
Mm-hmm.
In verse 1 alone, it said this man knew his wife, and then a baby came. It takes 9 to 10 months for a baby to come out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, unfortunately, sometimes it's shorter. Sometimes it could be longer. You know, I hope it's just literally 9 to 10 months.
Mm-hmm.
But in this one verse, we're looking at a 9 to 10 month time frame.
Yeah.
Now, let's get to it.
What?
Book of Genesis, chapter 4, verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
And she again bears brother, Abel.
Mm-hmm.
And Abel was a keeper of sheep,
Right.
but Cain was a tiller of the ground. Right now, what you're looking at a separation of duties between both sons, between the eldest and the youngest.
Mm-hmm.
I would ask the question, but you know, for time's sake, I'm just going to give it to you.
Right.
These two young men, they have a slavery now. This is their slavery. I'm using that because I'm going to touch a point in a second. They have a slavery now. Cain's slavery as a man who tills the ground, he's basically a farmer. Abel's slavery as a man who is a keeper of sheep, a sheep herder, he was like most people that you hear about in the Bible. He was a shepherd.
Mm-hmm.
He was a shepherd, a keeper of sheep. Now that we know that Cain was a farmer, and nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Now that we know that Abel is a sheep herder, that is his slavery, that is their slaveries, nothing is wrong with that. I'm going to ask this specific question. I'm going to give you the answer, but I want you to think for a second. What was Abel's job? Not Cain's job. They both had a slavery. Me and his brother, we both have slaveries. What was Abel's job?
Anybody that's watching the class right now on Facebook or YouTube, please, by all means, feel free to answer this question. It's okay if you get it wrong. We just want some interaction.
That's it.
So the brother's asking a question. He's asking, no, I'm not going to say it, but he's asking you what was his job.
What was his job?
Anybody is free to answer. Anybody. What do you think his job was?
And I will give you a hint. You won't know his job. What's our job in the ISUPK? Everything we're saying, we're gonna prove. What is our job in the ISUPK? We have slaveries.
Who we got? We got young man Davion. I know Kodash. I know you in there. Who's that? That's young man Avant. That's a very, very knowledgeable.
I like
brother.
that, brother.
He said a shepherd, most high in Christ. Most high in Christ.
You are right, but no. His slavery is a sheep herder. That's his slavery. This brother is a mechanic, right? His slavery is a mechanic. He works on planes, helicopters.
Planes. Yeah.
He works on planes. A plane mechanic. That's his slavery.
Mm-hmm.
What is his job? Matter of fact, young man, of what? Your father has a slavery. What is your father's job? You see your father's job every Wednesday at the school.
So Olivia, she said to teach.
Yes. Oh, okay, she's right. Who can teach? No.
Y'all are like, y'all there.
You right. What's she say?
A priest.
Bam.
There you go.
Okay. Here's what I want. I want to knock off. You know what? Everybody, let's go to the book of Luke, the 11th chapter. We're going to go to Luke, the 11th chapter, because you're right.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go to the book of Luke, the 11th chapter, and the 49th verse.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna understand why I'm asking this question. I can't see what he said. I can't read that for.
Let me see. Let's see. High priest and officers. No, you're right. Sis.
You're right.
No, she's right. She's right.
For other words, priest and prophet. Abel's slavery was him being a shepherd. Cain's slavery was him being a farmer. Abel's job was him being a priest and prophet of the Lord. I'm going to prove it. The book of Luke, chapter 11, verse 49. Therefore also said the wisdom of God, I will send them prophets and apostles, and some of them they shall slay and persecute. So some of these prophets and apostles that the Lord will send out into the world, they'll be slain, executed, and persecuted, right? Verse 50, that the blood of all the prophets which was shed from the foundation of the world may be required of this generation. So Christ is talking to people at that time. He's saying you're going to pay at another time for the sins that you commit. This generation that Christ is talking to, he said, hey, look, you're going to pay for it. You might not pay for it then, but you're going to pay for it. This is another reincarnation scripture. Verse 51, from the blood of Abel unto the blood of Zechariah, which perished between the altar and the temple. Verily I say unto you, it shall be required of this generation. Question. How did Abel become a priest and prophet of the Lord? I asked you this question, and I really want you to understand this, especially for you troopers and you young men.
Who was that? Us, Cornyala.
Lord Christ, sir. How does one, just think about today, just make this practical. How does one become a priest and prophet of the Lord? How? How does a young man from a trooper turn into a priest and prophet of the Lord? Let's see. I gotta get on my phone and goddamn see what they saying on YouTube.
Nah, right. Who is this? Sis said the Lord chose him.
Okay. But how does a man, the Lord chooses a lot of people, but a lot of people don't. He calls a lot of people, but a lot of people don't pick up. Mm-hmm. How does one become a priest and prophet for the Lord? What is the steps? What is the process? Officers definitely know, because that's the only way we became this. You young man and you troopers, you should know. You sisters who are married to a brother in the school, you should damn near know. How does one, if we just read that Abel's job was being a priest and a prophet, how did Abel become a priest and a prophet? What goes on for you to be a priest and a prophet?
She said, form a higher, no, not from a higher ranking.
No.
Okay, so the brother already kind of, I can't give it away without, okay, so the process. What do, not just brothers, but anyone who comes to the school, what is something you have to do to change?
What? Okay, yes.
And studying.
But
okay.
How does one become have you ever seen somebody get raised up?
Like, y'all know. Y'all there.
I'm making it difficult, but I'm making it very simple.
Prove yourself. You're very close.
You're okay. There, but you're not. I want the steps.
Like, what do you, okay, let me bring it back then. Okay. I can't say it without giving it away.
Okay, you know what? For time's sake, because we got to do some stuff. For time's sake, here's how one becomes a priest and prophet of the Lord. A man above them has to anoint them to become a priest and prophet of the Lord. Before you get anointed, what must happen? What did you say? You're right, come to class. But you're right. Everything you're saying is right, but I want to break it down from last step to first step. You have to get anointed. A brother has to pour oil on your head and anoint you and say, you are now an officer in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. You are now a priest and prophet. Before that, what must happen? You have to take a test. A test is given to you. And the only way you can pass that test is if you're sincere, and if that test was given to you by a high priest. That priest gives you the test. Why? Because this priest
should prove yourself.
You're right, but stay with me. You get anointed. The only way you can get anointed is by getting a test. The only way you can get a test is by a high priest teaching you what you need to do to pass the test once he gives you the test. I'm bringing this out to show you and prove to you how Abel is being considered a priest and prophet in Luke 11:49-51. I'm going to prove it in Genesis 4:3-4 and show you what their test was to make Abel a priest and prophet of the Lord, and why he was considered a priest and prophet that was slain and persecuted. That's all I'm bringing up. Right. Now, let's get to it, if I may, sir. You got something?
No, I'm not going to say it yet.
Okay. So let's get to it. Right, I'm gonna give you the hint right now. This is the test. This right here is the test. I can't say this is Cain's first test. I can't tell you this is Abel's first test, but I can tell you this is the test. I don't know how many years old Cain is above Abel, but I can tell you this right here is the test to prove that one of them or both of them could have been a priest and prophet of the Lord. No difference when you go take an officer test. It might be another brother in you with you taking the test. One brother might pass, one brother might fail. But it's up to that brother who failed to learn how to become a priest and prophet, if he cares. Verse 3. So Genesis 4:3. And in process of time, again, time, and in process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. Verse 4. And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering. Okay, let's go, sir.
So before you get into 5,
so
there's something that the brother, I'm trying to avoid certain words. I don't want to give it away. If you haven't got it now, right, like just keep listening.
Right.
So what he's bringing out is this: you got Cain and Abel. Cain was the firstborn, right?
Cain was the firstborn.
So he's like the older brother, right?
Right.
So, but they're brothers nonetheless. So they both have tasks that they were given. Right. Now, we read earlier that Cain was into the ground. Abel was a keeper of the sheep. Now, keeper of the sheep, like the brother Avant said, he was a shepherd.
Right.
And y'all ended up getting it. Y'all ended up getting it. So a priest, right?
Right.
Somebody who teaches, somebody who has the nature of a keeper of a sheep means what? You can herd a flock,
right,
so to speak. You can herd cattle. You can lead. That's key word. Lead. Abel was shown to have the capability to lead.
Right.
But how though? Peep how it said in verse 3. And in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. Now, time. Meaning what? These were brothers. They were raised together. They were watched. They were studied. Okay, Abel is able to do this. Cain is able to do this. Abel had a trait about him that was honorable. That's why he was a keeper of the sheep. Now we read Cain gave his offering. He gave of the fruit of the ground and an offering unto the Lord. Okay, now it said that Abel, he brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof, and the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering.
Right.
Why?
I
don't want to get to 5 yet. I want them to think.
We definitely got to touch on 3 and 4 even more. Why did the Lord respect Abel's offering and not Cain's offering? Why?
Y'all been tuning in, so anybody free to answer. Go ahead and just say whatever comes to mind.
I'm going to tell you this. The first thing that you think probably ain't going to be it. But shoot it out there anyway. Biblical shot. Please. Why did the Lord not respect Cain's offering?
We're going to make y'all think. Go ahead. Y'all been on it. Let's see. Anybody? Because he gave the best.
Okay, yes.
You're there. You're there. You're there.
Because he showed the ability to lead. You're getting there. You're on the street, but you're not at the house. You're on the street, but you're not at the house. Like, we got to untap something in your brain. It's a common misconception, but we're trying to untap it in your brain as to why the Lord respected Abel's. And the brother touched on it earlier. He touched on it about the breath of life before even Moses got there. We touched on it. What was Adam?
I know you're trying to avoid saying, yeah, I know.
Because I told you. Yeah. One pass. Okay. One pass the test. You're right. Okay. What was the test? What was the test? You're right. One passed the test, one did not pass the test.
I'll give you a hint. When you go to verse 4, it says, and Abel also brought of the firstlings of his flock. So, who was it? Avant. So Avant, he said that he gave his best.
Yes.
You're right. There's a certain phrase or word that like we're looking for. Let's see. One pass. Okay.
Right, one pass the test. Yeah.
I want to make it clear, like y'all not wrong. Like y'all are. We need you to be here. Y'all like right here.
Right.
You're right. Like you're right there. We don't want to give away the answer so easily, though. What does that say? He listened.
You're right, but listen. Okay. What was the instructions?
Sacrifice.
You're right. Yeah. Y'all right. You're right next door. But okay. What's recorded? I just gotta kind of give it to him. What's recorded right here is the first recorded high holy day.
Don't tell them the high holy day.
I'm not gonna tell you the high holy day. But what high holy day is this?
Again, hint: the firstlings of the flock.
This is literally the first recorded high holy day in the Bible.
Let's see.
We do it every year. We have this high holy day every year.
Just pay attention to that word. The feast of first fruit.
That is that.
Yeah.
Give him a hand. Look, and we're going to prove it. We're going to definitely prove it. Mm-hmm. Let's go to the book of Leviticus chapter 20. Salakia. What I want? Exodus 23 and 16. The book, I'm going to give you 3 quick precepts just to go prove what we're saying. The book of Exodus chapter 23 verse 16.
Go ahead.
And the feast of harvest, the first fruits of thy labors, which thou hast sown in the field, and the feast of ingathering, which is in the end of the year, when thou hast gathered in thy labors out of the field. Now, this is Moses telling them what to do about the first fruits. Let's go to the book of Numbers. Let's go to the 18th chapter. Let's start at verse. Blah, blah, blah. Let's start at verse 12. Mm-hmm. All the best of the oil and all the best of the wine and of the wheat, the first fruits of them which they shall offer unto the Lord, them have I given thee. Let's jump down to verse 17. Numbers 18 and 17. Right. But the firstling of a cow or the firstling of a sheep or the firstling of a goat, thou shalt not redeem. They are holy. Thou shalt sprinkle their blood upon the altar and shalt burn their fat for an offering made by fire for a sweet savor unto the Lord. One more precept, if I may.
Go ahead.
Leviticus 23 and 10. If I'm moving too fast, Shalaki. Just watch it later and write it down.
If I could real quick. So everybody that's tuning in on TikTok, Shalaki, I had to redo the live. There was a bad connection or something, so I had to cancel that last one. So I see some people just tuning in. So we're going over Cain and Abel. This is the beginning of, we pretty much brought it out now. Now we can talk about it. This was the first feast of first fruits.
Right.
And the reason why I kept harping on first.
Record it.
Anybody who was watching any of our high holy days, you read out of Leviticus 23, the whole chapter, right? And every single time, if you pay attention, we reference Cain and Abel every single time. And I want to make it clear, I think it was Avant. I believe it was Avant. Yeah, he gave his best. Yeah.
Yes.
So when you said that, again, you weren't wrong.
Right.
You were right. We just needed you to say it. That's all it was.
Right.
Giving your best. Can I say that yet?
Say it. What?
We already did. So I'm just saying now. When you say give your best, the reason why the Most High loved the offering that Abel gave and not the one that Cain gave is because, like you said, Abel gave his best. Cain didn't.
Right.
That was the whole thing. Like he gave when it says the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof, meaning he gave like, okay, think of it like this. You ever been to like a deli or something like that, or you go like to a fish market or whatever? Yeah. You want the fresh fish.
I want my fries fresh.
You want the fresh. You don't want the fish that's been laying out there all day.
Right.
It's like, nah, give me the one you just got out.
Right.
You go to Dunkin' Donuts or something. I don't go there. I'm just saying, like you go to Dunkin' Donuts or whatever. You want the donut that's been out there all day.
Come on.
I used to work at Dunkin' Donuts, by the way, because I know this. The fly come out, land on the dang donut. They don't tell you that.
That's crazy.
It's nasty. But you don't want that donut.
Right.
You want the one that's fresh, is warm,
hot and ready.
Hot and ready. That's what you want. That's what Abel gave. And that showed, again, the character that he had, the nature that he had. Where it said earlier, he was a keeper of the sheep.
Right.
To be a keeper of the sheep means that you got to be able to lead. You have to have certain characteristics about you that kind of trump others.
Right.
So he gave his best. And that's why the Lord honored what Abel did. We didn't read it yet. We'll get into verse 5 eventually, but I'm going to get these precepts out the way first.
One more.
But matter of fact, I'm going to leave it there. We'll get into verse 5 in a second. Go ahead.
All right. Leviticus 23 and 10. Speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, when ye be come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then ye shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest unto the priest. Perfect. A lot of people, I'm glad you did not say it. A lot of people would just say, because of their ignorance, they would say the Lord didn't honor Cain because he brought fruits and vegetables. You have to understand, just think about a community. Everybody does not grow livestock. Everybody in the community does not grow grain and wheat. Everybody in the community does not make this. These things, your first fruits, your best, are to be given unto the Levites at that time, but the Lord. These brothers over here, they grow cows. These brothers over livestock, sheep, goats. Let's say he go to livestock, sheep, and goats. Let's say I'm a tiller of the ground. Let's say I only grow wheat, grain, apples, oranges, watermelon, things of that nature. My best trees, my best grains, my first harvest, my ripe stuff, the things that are great. Now, this is a good fruit right here. This is a good tree.
Right.
I gather those things up as a heave. A heave is just a big gathering, a big bundle. I gather those things up, my best, and I give it to the Lord.
Right.
We all don't have the same thing. We all don't have the same job. That's why when I read it back in Numbers, hey, give the oil. These people might just make oil.
Right.
Give your rice. These people might just make rice and grains. These people over here, this family over here, might only make wine.
Right.
Bring your wine. These people over here might only have sheep. Bring your best sheep. These people over here might only have cows and cattle and goat. Bring that over here, oxen. Your best. Cain's problem was, he just gathered some. Let me just grab this. Let me grab this.
You know what's crazy? I want to touch on
yes, sir.
I want to touch on what he just said too. So peep how, again, we're gonna go 3 and 4 again, right? Like you said, Abel, it's like specified that he gave the firstlings of the flock, right?
Specified.
Yeah, it's specified. It was recorded that he gave his best, right?
Right.
Now you go to verse 3. It says, in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit. Did it say first fruit?
No.
Did it say best fruit? No, it just said fruit.
Don't grab this watermelon. It's dying.
Exactly. He probably like, let me get these apples real quick. This apple got a hole in it.
real quick.
Yeah, like let me just grab this real quick and just, let me give him that. That's why I can't say it yet, but we'll get to verse 5 in a second. But that was the difference. Again, character. And I'm glad you touched on. Some people think that it's just like, okay, he gave him vegetables, but then this person gave him like, okay, imagine somebody give you, let's be real, like one is healthier than the other, but let's say somebody give you a head of lettuce.
Right.
But then somebody else give you a steak.
Right.
Obviously, you're going to want the steak.
Right.
Right. But that's not what this is, though. What this is was he gave the best, because he could have got the goat that was dying.
Right.
He could have got the sick goat, right? The sick cow. But no, he gave the first things. This is the best goat I have, the best cow that I have.
This is an officer.
This is the best. This is the best of what I got.
Right.
Here you go. That's why it's specified.
Right.
Right. And that's what Salakia, what the brother was touching on. So like I just wanted to get on that.
You correct, sir. That is an officer really breaking it down on what I'm saying, even in more specifics.
Right.
He gave the best of what he had to offer. I don't have I don't have what this brother has, but what I offer with my skill, this certain skill that I have, I'm going to give you the best of that skill.
Exactly.
This brother's skill that he has, he's going to give you the best of that skill. So the Lord will have respect unto the things that we sacrifice for him. The oblation.
Nah, and I'm glad you touched on that, because what you can take from this is this, right? It's not always about how much you have.
Right.
It's about what you can give. Like this is a perfect example. You, like you said, you might not have a lot. You might be a family and all you have is rice.
All you have is rice.
Like, you don't got cattle. You don't got fruits. You just got rice. Okay, that's cool. Give the best rice you have.
Come on.
You might be a brother. You might not be too good at, I'm just making up something. You might not be the best mechanic, right?
Right.
Okay, but you're very good at literature, right?
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's your skill. Be the best at that.
Right.
Everybody's good at something. Give your best. That's the whole thing. Now, that's why we're talking about this, because Cain and Abel had two different jobs.
Right.
But of those jobs, even though you got one who tended to the ground, who has the vegetables, then you got somebody else who tends to the sheep,
right,
the cattle, the flock.
Right.
Of that, one gave the best.
Right.
One didn't.
Right.
And now, if I may, we can get into verse 5.
Yes.
Go ahead.
The book of Genesis chapter 4, verse 5. But unto Cain and to his offering, he had not respect.
Oh, he said he had not respect. Why? Because Cain, he gave the bare minimum. That's what it was.
That piss poor effort.
He gave, that's what I want, or I don't know if I can say it, but like he half-assed it. That's what
that's it.
Was. Like, you don't want that. I was taught that growing up. Like, you don't never want to just do just
the
enough.
bare minimum, right?
Like, if you really want it, like, let's say you in college, you want your degree, whatever it may be. Are you gonna just? I'll just get like a C, I guess.
Come on, man.
Like, nah, you want to be the best at what you. That's the craft that, like, you gotta think that's your profession, right? Just like in here, you an officer.
It's my profession.
You want it's your profession. You come in here, you become an officer. You want to be the best officer you can that you could possibly be.
Right.
Salakia. You might be good at this, but you're not too good at this. Okay, now I'm not saying don't work on your flaws.
Right.
Of course, work on your flaws. But when you know you're good at something,
which you excel at,
there are brothers like, okay, this brother example. He's very good. Like, you're very studious. Very studious, and he's very good at remembering precepts. He'll tell you the chapter and the verse off rip. Some brothers, they're just good at that, right? I'll keep it real with you. My memory's not that good. I can remember like verses and I can paraphrase and I have an idea of where it is, but I'm not that good. My expertise is more, I guess, talking in a certain way. Now, we understand each other's skills.
Yes.
Okay. Be the best
at that. Come on.
Be the best.
And look how our classes go. It work. Our classes work. Our classes work perfectly because we both know our skill. Yeah, I might come with more precepts, but he can eloquently break it down better than I can for the most part. This is how this, if you watch our class, there's a theme to it. I come with the precept. He come with them too. But when I break down his breakdowns of my precepts, I was like, wow, I don't know how I didn't even think of that.
So then you bring up precepts that I be forgetting about. I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? I remember that one. But again, that's working together too.
Right.
Now is the reason why I said working together.
One body.
Because now we're about to get into it. If you could finish
from
the top, verse 5 one more time.
The book of Genesis chapter 4, verse 5. But unto Cain and to his offering, he had not respect.
He had not respect. You know?
And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell.
Okay, now, what does wroth mean?
Come on.
W-R-O-T-H. What is wroth?
Use those fingers. Use those fingers.
Y'all on your phone.
Come on.
Let's see. Who is this? He didn't accept Cain's. It's about time y'all started talking. Okay. Y'all didn't. He didn't accept Cain's offering because he's not a vegetarian. He's a carnivore. No.
What the hell?
No, we just broke that down. That's not what it was. It had nothing to do with the type of food that they were given. Cain had his vegetables. Abel, he had the animals.
And that also not only vegetables, he had rice, he had wheat, he had fruits.
He was a tiller of the ground.
Tiller of the things that grow on the ground.
Right.
Cain was put in charge of that.
Right. The whole reason we're going over that is it has nothing to do with being a vegetarian. No. Right. Cain didn't give his best. Let's see. He didn't pick the best of his flock. Are you talking about Abel or are you talking about Cain? Because Cain didn't have a flock.
Right.
If you're referring to Cain, then I understand what you're talking about.
Right.
But no, Cain didn't have a flock. If that is who you're talking about. I mean Cain. Okay, thank you for that. So I mean Cain. Yeah, exactly. He didn't give his best. That was the whole thing. Now we asked, okay, it says in verse 5 that Cain was very wroth, meaning what? What is wroth?
Young man of one put it in, angry. Correct.
Most High in Christ, very angry. Good. I don't know why, but I remember this account in the Bible, right? This was the time when we were at war with the Midianites. This was Moses, and I believe it's in Numbers, and it goes into Ezra chapter 9. At this time period, we were at war with the Midianites, and the men, these were Israelite men, they were sleeping with Midianitish women.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Now, during that time, I believe it's in Numbers. I forgot which chapter. But there's something where it says Moses was very wroth. Why? He was angry because he found out what was going on.
Right.
And at that time period, the Lord was very angry too. So you want to know what he did? He put a curse upon all the people. It was like this great evil that came down. People was dying.
Right.
And they're like, what's going on? Like, we doing what we're supposed to do. And then they found out, oh,
some people sneaking.
Yeah, like y'all people, like we were at war, and then later brothers found out that some of y'all are taking these women and you're doing stuff that you're not supposed to do.
Right.
And I forgot the name of the brother, but this is when they caught him in the tent.
Yes.
The javelin.
Yes.
And now when that was done, then the evil just
went away.
Now you're right. Angry. Now, this is why I bring this up. And this is why I said teamwork. Like, we work together, right? Cain and Abel could have worked together.
Cain could have just went over there.
Right. Let's see. It makes sense with our culture as we are shepherds. Okay, there are men who are ordained to be shepherds. We're supposed to.
Right.
We're supposed to. So you're not wrong. You're supposed to be. Now, it says Cain was wroth. Why was he wroth, though?
Let's finish.
Go ahead.
Verse 5. But unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. I would like to speak on.
Go ahead.
You have to, when you're reading this Bible, you have to think of just black people, Hispanic people. Think about blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans. You get mad first, and then you get ashamed. Think about why was Cain mad? Because I'll give you the answer for time's sake.
Go ahead.
Cain got caught in a lie. He was trying to deceive the Lord, knowing that he was supposed to bring his first, knowing he was supposed to bring his best. Cain said, "I'm just gonna grab this. I'm like this is good enough." Yeah. Being late to the party when you supposed to had already prepared, had it already set up for when people walk through. He came in. The Lord looked at it like, "Yeah, that ain't it, my boy," and knew you. The Lord knew. The Lord dwells in you. So the Lord knew that this was not the best and this was not the first, and He knew the heart or the mind that Cain had. He called Cain out because he didn't have respect for his offering, his sacrifice. He called Cain out, caught Cain in a lie. What did Cain do? He said he got wroth. What usually happens when you catch somebody in a lie? I ain't lying. Yeah, how you gonna tell me I'm lying?
You get defensive.
You get defensive.
Yeah, you get defensive.
He got a heat. I got a heat. Why you want my heat? Yeah. I ain't lying. I can know everything. Like, think how people act when you catch them in a lie. I ain't lying. I did catch you in a lie. And then after they sat there for so long, man, calling that lie and get defensive, shame hits them. Mm-hmm. So now he's mad that he got caught in a lie, and now he's ashamed that he was lying and got caught in a lie. So now he's wroth and his countenance fell. You're lying. Mm-hmm. Don't be Cain. Like
no, and if I could also, so you say he was wroth. Why else was Cain angry?
Come on.
We just brought it out. He was caught, like pretty much, he got caught red-handed. Why do you think what was another reason why Cain was angry?
We gave it to you earlier, actually, on why somebody was considered a priest and prophet and somebody was not.
Yeah, I'm not going to say the word. This should be easy. Right. Anybody who's been tuning in. Why else do you think Cain was upset? Anybody is free to answer.
Anybody.
Why do you think Cain was upset? He brought out one reason. What's the other one? I'll make sure y'all still tune in.
Come on, y'all.
Yeah, it's one word. Whatever comes to mind. Why do you think? Let's see. He was angry because he taught it was favoritism. Okay, there's a certain emotion. What this person say? He failed the test. Okay, no. It's a certain emotion that he felt.
Why was he angry?
Why was he angry? Why was Cain angry? It should be easy. I'm not giving this one away. Y'all gonna get this one.
You see it all the time in the neighborhood.
You see, he was jealous of his brother, Thawada, Sister Batharwana. No sign of Christ. So the sister said he was jealous, envy. He was upset. Now he's pretty much, Cain was a hater.
That's it.
That's all it was. He was a hater. He was mad because he wanted to give the bare minimum. He got called out on his BS, so to speak. But also, he's upset because he's like, Abel, you know, he gave this. He accepted his offering.
And if I may,
go ahead.
Spiritually, think about. I want you brothers to really understand this too.
Everybody said, "Yep, pride." Oh, pride.
Yeah, that's good.
Pride, jealousy. Yep, envy. Y'all got it. Yep.
Brothers, do not hate on a brother that comes in after you and get raised up before you.
Yeah, don't do that.
That is such a nasty trait that we're gonna weed out of here. Your time will come. Your time will come. Cain was jealous. He is the older brother. Cain was jealous that his younger brother basically got anointed, right, and became an officer or a priest before he did. Right. Cain was never in the right spirit to become one. It's brothers. I've heard it. I've seen it. Some brothers will be mad and they get weeded out. They'll be mad that a brother they came in before them got raised up to the same rank and surpassed them.
Right.
You know why that happened? It's not favoritism. It's not nepotism. It's work. It's sincerity. It's dependability. If I tell you, Adam, who got the law from the Lord and was shown how to sacrifice, clearly he showed Abel and Cain how to sacrifice, when to do these sacrifices, when time was to come to do these certain particular sacrifices. He told them exactly the same thing. One of them listened and followed orders. Right. He did exactly what his father told him because he believed in his father. He believed in the Lord. Right. He believed in his outer one. The other didn't truly believe.
And if I could, real
yes,
quick,
sir.
What the brother is bringing out kind of goes more into what we were talking about earlier. I know some of y'all might have not caught this. Hebrews 10 and 26 and 2 Peter 2 and 21. Now, that was more referencing towards sin, right? Now, we'll get into that in next class. But I'll say this much. At this point in time, Canaan didn't necessarily sin, but he was getting called out because of his character.
Lack of effort.
Now, again, like you brought up, Adam was made to know what was right and wrong. Right? Now, he disobeyed.
Right.
Now he really knows, like, okay, you know, I can't do that. So you know what he did? He taught his sons.
Come on.
Hey, son, this is how you should live. This is what you should do, right? So now one listened. He honored his father. Abel honored his father, like, you know what? Okay, this is what my dad put me on to. Okay, this is how I'm supposed to live. Let me just do my best, right? Cain, he didn't fully listen. So that's why Abel was over Cain, even though he was younger than Cain, because of his nature. You can take that into account with Esau and Jacob. That is that. I'm paraphrasing. The older shall serve the younger. Again, it's not about necessarily the age. That's what we touched on earlier. Again, one more thing. There are brothers in this school who are younger than me, who are over me. Right. I know a brother in particular. This brother actually brought me into the school. He's in Virginia. This brother, it's funny. I think he's like 26. I think I'm older than him, but this man is an officer of 5,000. Right. I hit him up for precepts at times. Right. Because this is the man that was old. Now, am I going to be jealous? Like, oh, you know, I'm older than you.
What do you think this is? This is the perfect example.
So, like, I'm not going to be jealous. Like, oh, you know, I'm older. I should be. Nah. The Lord saw that brother to be fit to be over me. He had more knowledge. Something about him was better than me. Right. So now I had to get on mine and be like, okay, you know what? Let me be a better version of myself. So sadly, Cain did not honor that. Right. And this is why I'm touching on Hebrews 10 and 26 and 2 Peter 2 and 21, because again, you can kind of take this into value as far as they were taught better. They knew the law. And despite them knowing better, Abel was the only one that listened.
Come on.
Cain, he just kind of there.
He didn't care.
I'm a tiller of the ground. Like, he didn't take his job seriously.
Right. He just doesn't.
That's what it was.
It's whatever.
So whatever. So because of that attitude, now they're making their offerings. Now, and this shows the nature of Cain. Now, one was accepted. Abel, he put his best foot forward, so to speak. Now, the Lord's like, you know what? I like what you did.
Right.
I'm gonna honor what you did. Cain, here's some pineapple that was
crazy.
like it's a little too ripe.
Crazy.
Like you gotta. I'm just
give
saying,
them green bananas.
Yeah, like it's not even ripe yet.
Come on,
or it's too ripe. Too brown. Just what he gave.
Feel my heat.
Salakia, but now the Lord, like, man,
no,
I'm not gonna honor that. Now, what Cain should have done at that point, he should have took that as a lesson.
That's it.
As like, this is why we're telling you this. He should have took that as a lesson. Like, you know what? Maybe I should be more like my brother Abel.
I should be better.
Thank you.
Do that, God. Perfect yourself.
Exactly. Perfect yourself, right? Let's see. God favored Abel's offerings. Keyword is favoritism. He favored Abel because of his work ethic.
That's it.
That's what it was. If Cain did the same thing that Abel did, they both would have been honored.
He's a dependable brother.
It's not. Let me make it very clear, because I see the word favoritism popping up quite a bit.
Right.
There is nothing wrong with favoring one over another as long as it's honorable.
Right.
God has a favorite.
Yes.
God has a favorite. That's fine. He has a favorite. He has something that he likes. He has something that he doesn't like.
Right.
So if you got kids, or not even say kids, let's say you just a boss, right? You run your own company and you got workers. And you got one worker, man, like this dude just grinds. He works. He show up early. And now you're like, you know what? I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna give him a promotion.
Right.
I'm gonna promote him so he can get more money. Matter of fact, I want him to be supervisor.
Let's give him a rank raise.
Exactly. Now, when you got this other dude, he show up late. He show up. He still got the boogers in his eye. He ain't brush his teeth. And then you like, this dude, he ain't really like, he work here, but he just kind of work here.
Yeah.
You think it's fair to give them both the same treatment?
Come on.
That's not fair.
Right.
God was being fair. That's what was going on right now. But sadly, again, Cain, he got upset.
Right.
He was wroth. Why? Because like you said, he got called out for his BS, but also he was jealous.
Come on.
You're jealous because somebody performed better than you.
That's it.
I don't know about you, but we taught in the school, like, look, if this person, whoever it may be, let's say there's a brother like, man, he really broke that down. I'm like, man, okay. I'm not going to look at it like, oh, he broke that down better than me. He think he better than me. I'm looking at it like, you know what? Okay, maybe I should sharpen my craft. What's that precept?
Iron sharpen iron.
Iron sharpen iron.
You just You want to pull it or you want to?
Now, if you could pull it real quick, just real quick, slide.
No, we just go.
You just pull out the precept real quick. Say, bring it out the water. Yeah, we
bring it out.
Pause. This man crazy, but if you could, Bubba Kasha.
I knew it was a power. Yeah, it was crazy. I'm not bringing nothing out.
But this is, like, if I may, on a more serious note, this is something that everybody should practice.
Right.
You got it?
Proverbs 27:17.
Go ahead.
Iron sharpeneth iron.
Uh-huh.
So a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend.
So now, what does it say in verse 5? And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. So he should have looked at his brother, and he should have took note of that and said, you know what? Abel got a trait about him that makes him better than me. Maybe I should learn so that I can be a better version of myself.
What breakdown did he give you? Oh, let me get that breakdown from him too.
That's it.
How did you comprehend what Father told us to do with the sacrifice?
Learn. That's all.
That's it.
That's your brother.
That's your brother. Blood brother. Same mother, same father. That's crazy.
Right? That's what he's supposed to. That was what he was supposed to do.
Right.
Maybe.
Right.
He decided to be, I can't say what I really want to say, but he was jealous.
A hater.
It's a lot.
Verse 6.
Verse 6.
Verse 6. Yeah. Verse 6. And the Lord said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? Mm-hmm. And why is thy countenance fallen? If I may,
go ahead.
I really want you to read this like black people. He ain't asking them, why art thou wroth? Why is thy countenance fallen? No, it's what you mad for?
Yeah.
What your head down for? You did this.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna break it down. Like, what you mad at me for? You mad because I'm not respecting your sacrifice, your offering?
And we'll get into
what you mad for?
Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 7, which is one of my favorite verses in the Bible. If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted?
If I could.
Let's finish it.
Go ahead.
If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted?
Keep going.
And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. We'll stop right there.
So this is what we've been talking about and been preaching about this whole time. We said, you said it earlier. If Cain was really giving his best,
come on.
Like if I'm really like, okay, there's this thing called righteous anger, right? If I'm really like, I know I put like my foot in it. Like I'm really like, I put my heart and soul into whatever work craft that I did, right? And it wasn't accepted. There's a thing called righteous anger. You can be upset like, man, like I really like, I did all that for nothing. Right. But that's not what Cain was feeling though. Right. Cain was on some, I'm going to give the bare minimum and, hopefully it's accepted.
Come on.
But it wasn't accepted. Now he mad like, what? Like, like you said, defensive. He getting defensive like, but I did what I was supposed to do, right? I did what I was supposed to do. But then, and I like this. Verse 7, it says, if thou doest well, like how Abel did.
Come on.
Abel did it. He did well. Abel had nothing to worry about. He did what he was supposed to do and more. So he's cool. His offering was accepted.
Right.
If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? So this is where he's getting questioned. Like, I mean, if you really, if you really did what you were supposed to do and you put your best foot forward and you gave your first fruits, you gave your first fruits.
Come on.
Would it not be accepted?
Precept.
And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door.
Come on.
Now, if I could real quick.
Yes, sir.
Sin lieth at the door. Oh, we can talk about it next class. Y'all already know what we're alluding to. I can't say it yet, but I can tell you this much. One of the sins that was already being committed by Cain was the jealousy and the hate and the envy that he was feeling towards Abel. This is what you should not do. You shouldn't be like, don't be like Cain. Don't be that type of person like, this person did better than me, especially if it's your own people.
Come on, man.
And you just start hating.
Just be proud.
Like, this doesn't the Bible say, I'm paraphrasing, you should love thy neighbor. Now, love thy neighbor meaning what? Meaning you should love your fellow tribesmen. You should love your brother. Right. You should love your sister, especially if they're doing well. Why? Don't be a crab in a bucket. Don't be that type of person like, he doing better than me. Let me drag him down.
Right.
Don't do that. We got too many of that running around in our communities today. We don't need that because how are we going to sit here and prosper as a people, as a community, as a nation, when you want to be a hater? You don't be like, how can I rely on you and trust you if you secretly hating on me, or vice versa? How can you rely on me and I'm like, man, this
crazy.
He think he better than me.
That's a crazy feeling.
That's a horrible spirit to have. Salakia, you got anything?
I want to touch on two things, but I would like to use a precept if I may. In Genesis 3 and 6, 7, it says, "Thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted." What is well? What is another word for well? I'm going to give it to you. Another word for well is good. If thou doest good, Squadashala. If thou doest good, that brother always is in class. If thou doest good, shalt thou not be accepted. If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted. Mm-hmm. Well and good, same word. What is good in the Bible? Time's sake, I'm going to give it to you. Romans 7 and 12. Again, and this is how you are a priest and a prophet, by serving the Lord, by doing the law, statutes, and commandments. It says, if thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? The book of Romans chapter 7, verse 12. Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just, and good. You do the law, you will be accepted. What is the law? That high holy day, that feast of first fruits, that's a law. That's a commandment. That is a statute that should live throughout your generations forever. They were told that from Adam, who got it from the Lord, which gave him the breath of life. Abel did it. Cain didn't. The Lord is now talking to Cain, saying, hey, look, if thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? If thou doest the law, if thou doest what I command you to do, if thou shalt serve me, will thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. You got to look at it like a father. Hey, look, this is my house. I pay the bills in here. I lay down a law up in here. I tell you what you can do and what you cannot do. I tell you what you can eat and what you cannot eat. I tell you when your behind supposed to be in this house and when you can go outside. I tell you what you can and cannot do, and you better listen. I lay down the law in this house. But if you decide not to follow what I'm telling you to do, you can go outside, and guess what? Sin lieth at the door. How do I know this and why do I understand this? They were already kicked out the Garden of Eden. They were in the burbs. They were in the suburbs. They were chilling. What did he say? Come on. Yeah. They were. The law is good and God is good. No one else. You're right. No one, here's what. Adam was living in the suburbs. He was living in a gated community, nice picket fence with officers of security around it. Got kicked out of the Garden of Eden and moved to where? The ghetto. The ghetto is where he moved to. Yep. He put him right in the ghetto. And guess what's lying outside there? Sin. You walk outside, there are drugs. There is unalivers. There are prostitutes, women of the night. There is rainbow people. They're outside the door. Sin lieth at the door. Adam has told him, I know good and bad now.
Thank you.
I know good and evil now. I know if you do not follow these laws that I'm giving you, I know it can happen to you, son. I've been your age before, son. I've lived the life you live, son. I'm telling you, if you don't listen to what I'm telling you to do, I'm going to kick you out this house. And you're going to be outside. And sin is going to be right there waiting on you.
You know what they say? They say, I wasn't born yesterday.
Come on.
Like, you can't pull the wool over my eyes.
Come on.
Because, like, parents say that to their kids. Why? Because they already done been through it.
That's in the Bible.
This is a perfect example, like he was bringing out. Adam already done been through it. Adam already done sinned. He already know, like, ooh, you know what? I messed up here. Let me make sure my sons don't do the same thing. Abel listened. Cain didn't. And if I could, real quick, we're going to finish up verse 7.
Yes, sir.
Where it says, I'll just read it real quick. It says, and unto thee, well, I'll start from the top. So this is the book of Genesis chapter 4, verse 7.
Ooh, let me question them, sir.
Oh, go ahead.
It's going to be right there where you reading that. I was like, I want to make sure they know. I want to ask them the thee and the his. Who is the thee and who is the his?
So we're going to read it real quick, right? So it says the book of Genesis chapter 4, verse 7 is the last verse. If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted. So we broke that down. And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. Broke that down. Here's the last bit. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. What do y'all think that means?
And I will tell you this. What you think it is not that. So what is it not? What is it not saying? Another hint, you have to read this backwards for you to get it. I can guarantee you wait about 10 minutes, it'll make so much sense. What is he saying? What is he not saying? Give us either or. Baba Kashad, please.
And keep in mind, again, this is the Lord speaking to Cain.
Right.
This isn't Cain talking.
Right. And unto thee shall be his desire. Who is the thee? I'll give you the thee. The thee is Cain. And unto Cain shall be his desire. Who or what is the his? His desire. Who is the his? And also, what does the word unto mean? Unto. And unto thee, Cain, shall be his desire. Shit, we just got damn over time. So
I'll give y'all a little bit. Let's see. Where anybody like y'all been? Hey, look, y'all been on it the whole class. This will be the last one, right? What do y'all think that means? I'll read it for you one more time. And it says, unto thee, again, context. This is the Lord speaking unto Cain.
Right.
unto thee, meaning Cain, shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. The answer is kind of in what I'm reading. If you understand, but I just want y'all to think.
And unto thee shall be his desire. Who's the his? Figure that out first, and then you can probably understand what's going to come. Who is the his? And unto thee shall be blank's desire.
Let's see. Sister Batharwana said to do.
Yes, but no. I'm looking for a particular word.
Okay, yeah, no, it's not. It's not that.
It's a word. The word is in what we read.
Yeah, just focus on that. I'm gonna read it one more time. This is the last time I'm reading it. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. Hint, hint. Though it's in what we just read.
It's in 7. It's you're looking right at it.
Let's see. I don't know what that is. They're talking about Disney Channel. I don't know. Sorry. I don't know what that is. But
on the board. What? Okay, his desire.
Okay.
But what's the hit? Who or what is his?
She's close.
She's close.
You're close.
But who or don't put his desire, put blank's desire. Blank's desire. Who or what? No, not offering.
No, it's not an offering. Desire is a key point, though, but he's kind of giving it to you without giving it to you.
The word is in verse 7. That's all I can give you. Nope. Not people. She said people.
No. Okay, don't think of like a literal person.
Right.
Like read a little up. It's in verse 7. There's a word.
Kwadashiala, no.
It means no. It's in verse 7.
I want one word.
It's a little above. But it's in verse 7. Just look in verse 7.
Yes.
Sin. Sign of Christ.
If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. And unto thee shall be his desire. And unto thee, Cain, shall be sin's desire. Meaning what? Meaning this. Cain, you're going to desire to sin. Mm-hmm. Cain, your desire will be sin. Cain, you will desire to sin, Cain. Mm-hmm. That, remember, we're looking at a punishment or looking at what can come to it. Mm-hmm. And unto thee shall be his desire. Remember, we're talking about sin on Cain. And unto Cain shall be sin's desire. What is sin? What does the word unto mean? It means on you. It means on. So on Cain will be the desire to sin.
And it kind of says it later. It says, and thou shalt rule over him. Meaning, it's not saying Cain shall rule over Cain.
Right.
No, it means the sin. The sin shall rule over you. That's what, it ties into what we're talking about. Any reading initiatives for Black youth. This is a reading initiative for the Black youth. Meaning what? You should love your people. All right? Don't be like Cain. Don't be like Cain. Why? Because it already started to happen. That's why I kept giving it to y'all. Jealousy, envy. He started to hate Abel.
Right.
Now, because he started to hate Abel, and it didn't click in his mind. It didn't click in his mind, like, maybe I should just be doing better like my brother. He didn't honor his brother or honor his father. He chose to do what? He hated his brother. Hating your brother is a sin.
Right. Hating
your brother because he chose to do well. Like, if there's a brother, like, there's people out there who have Black businesses. Am I going to hate you because you decided to not do what everybody else did? Like, right. Ain't nothing wrong working a 9 to 5. I work a 9 to 5. I ain't mad.
Right.
But if you decide to go the extra step and you're like, you know what? I want to own my own business. I want to have a Black business.
Right.
I want to do something for the community. Am I going to hate you because you chose to do good?
Right.
You went the extra mile? Don't be like that. That was the sin. Before I don't give it away, because we'll talk about it next class. Salaki. I don't know who that is.
Brother Monster.
Okay.
Hispanic?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'm just making sure. But the sin right there was he was already jealous and envious of his brother. Now, going back to verse 7, it was in there, the water. Sin lieth at the door, and unto thee, meaning the sin, unto thee, Canaan, it's like a Cain, shall be his sin desire, and thou shalt rule over him. Now, the spirit of sin
is on.
Yeah.
It's on Cain.
Yeah. And what was that? What was his sin at this point? We ain't gonna give it away. At this point, what was his sin? Before we get into, because I know y'all know, but before we get into it, what was the sin?
And you know what? We skipped over it, but you have to understand. Remember, I told you he just tried to deceive the Lord. If you try to deceive someone, you're basically a liar. Yeah. Let me tell you something about a liar. If you lie, you cheat. If you cheat, you steal. If you steal, I can't say it because of TikTok, you're not alive. All of that, he lied about how he was his offering.
Right.
So he cheated his offering. To let you know the type of person this is. He's a sinner. That's why when I play, man, I don't give you too much. Man, when I was locked up, man, I was playing cards, man. And we was talking, I was just like, let me tell you one thing about me. I'm not going to cheat on no card game. Because if you're cheating in a card game, you're cheating in life.
What's the precept? I'm paraphrasing. One sin is like unto all.
Come on.
Right?
There's nothing different.
Meaning what? Meaning, okay, you the type to follow the whole law.
Right.
But you eat pork.
Come on.
Yeah, you think, well, I eat pork. It's not that bad.
You're a murderer.
Guess what? Not to me.
Right.
Because, like people, we think of it like, well, not us, but people in the world like, oh, well, that's not so bad. He's not hurting anybody. Okay.
That's the problem.
I can talk about it real quick before we get off, right? I'm going to try to be as politically correct as I can. There are those of you who have this mentality that if you watch adult films, you think that, well, they're not hurting nobody. Now, what you don't understand is you're already stepping into sin. Why? Because you're conditioning your mind to be okay with the idea of watching. You're uncovering people's nakedness.
Right.
First of all, you're uncovering someone's nakedness. You're uncovering woman's nakedness and man's nakedness. Salakia. This is your guilty pleasure, so to speak, right? Now, you may think, I'm not hurting nobody, but guess what? You're already developing the mindset of, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with the idea of fantasizing about having intercourse with another man's woman.
Right.
Or, I can get a little more into it, you're okay as a man with uncovering another man's nakedness.
Something is wrong with you.
So you're already stepping into adultery. That's why I'm paraphrasing where it says like, I'm mad about it. You're undressing with your eyes. Put it like that. I can't think of the precept at the moment real quick, but there's a precept where it says, you're not even supposed to think about adultery with a woman. Why? Right. Because you're already grooming yourself to be okay with it.
Right.
So now, if you're the type that you follow the whole law, but you're okay with that, then it's like, okay, well, what else are you okay with? That's something to open the door,
right,
for sin. You eat pork. Okay, well, you eat pork. Who's to say you won't eat shrimp? Who's to say you won't give shrimp to your kids?
Great question.
Who's to say that you won't commit adultery? Who's to say that you won't steal? Who's to say that you won't lie? Because the lie right there is already within itself, because you're saying you follow the whole law, but then you eat pork though. But I follow the whole law, but I eat shrimp. I follow the whole law, but you watch adult films.
Right.
I follow the whole law, but I get tattoos. You see where it starts to trickle down? So it gives off a certain nature. Cain. That was his nature. Go ahead.
Olivia Arnold, she asked, so if we think it, we gonna do it. Basically, you think it, you speak it, you act it. This is why we have so many classes. This is why we have so many podcasts. This is why all day, every day, we're on here. This is why the Lord tells you to meditate on the word, so you can think righteously. So you think it, you speak it, you act it. What you say, you'll probably do. Now, of course, sometimes brothers be joking, and you don't take that serious. But when you get to an all serious account, You don't think evil of your brother. Why? Because if I don't think evil of my brother, I won't speak evil of my brother. If I don't speak evil of my brother, there is no reason for me to act evil towards my brother.
Exactly.
That is the whole concept of the Bible. We have to, they say we're brainwashed. Yes, we have to get the pollution of this world, because there's not a brother on earth right now besides one West that can walk past a brother and size him up. There's no need for me to size you up. I'm not thinking what me and you can do when it comes to physicality. I'm not thinking that anymore. I used to. I'm sizing brother up, see, hey, we finna get into it. Is what type of time we on. Mm-hmm. You don't have to think that way in here.
Exactly.
There's no reason for you to think like you used to think. Now you think like, oh, shalom, brother. Is this brother okay?
Yeah, and what shalom mean?
Peace. But is your day going swell, brother? If not, let's figure out how to make it. Instead of your day going bad, let's make it a worse day.
Yeah, don't be like that.
Don't think and speak it active. That would save me a lot of time. Slack. We gotta finish this though.
Yeah, no.
If I may,
go ahead.
If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted. Mm-hmm. And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. We broke that down. And unto thee shall be his desire, and unto Cain shall be sin's desire, and thou shalt rule over him. Cain, you're gonna rule over sin, but sin's really gonna rule over you. Meaning what? You're gonna be the king of sin.
And if I may, real quick, I believe it's in Matthew. You don't gotta go to it. I'm just paraphrasing. Where you can't serve two masters.
Come on,
right? We talk about that quite a bit. You cannot serve two masters because you're gonna wind up hating the other.
Right.
Like you can't come in here and be like, no, let me see. Let me use a different analogy. Okay. For those of y'all who believe in interracial marriages, there's a trend that's been going on for Lord knows how long.
Right.
It was a brother I knew. I'll just use him as an example. When I was in the Navy, there was a brother, he loved Caucasian women. Now, at first, when I was younger, I'm like, okay, you like what you like. Whatever, right? No harm, no foul. Well, there was harm and foul because I noticed something about him. And what he would do is he would always degrade black women to hype up white women. He'd make all these posts. I ended up just stopped talking to this dude. I unfriended him. I don't really unfriend people like that. But I had to unfriend him because I got tired of seeing it so damn much. And he would just degrade, like, oh, y'all black women need to step on y'all game because these white women did it up. And I'm like, dang, bro, like, do you have to keep degrading them? But then as I got older, I started to understand, especially coming into this truth, you love these type of women so much, you hate these type of women. And I'm like, brother, you black.
Right. Your mother's black.
You're like, thank you. Your mother. This brother, he had sisters, cousins. There are black women in your family. So when you say these things, I'm like, so you hate your mom? You hate your sisters? This is the woman that raised you, right? You say, I love my mom, but you hate black women.
Come on.
It just, the math ain't mathing, you know what I'm saying? And that's pretty much what we get into where it says, sin lieth at the door. And, it's saying that you shall serve Salakia. What does it say? I just closed my eyes.
And unto Salakia, if thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted?
Right.
And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door.
Sin lieth at the door.
And unto thee shall be.
I'll read it real quick. Going to Genesis chapter 4. Where it says, if thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted. You swab?
Yeah. Hold on. You good?
You swab?
I'm swab.
Okay. Just making sure.
What's up?
Sluggy, give us 1 second.
Okay. When you there? Where?
Let's see. Who's sent the rose? Oh, the water. Let's see. The end times. We are in the end times. This is definitely true. We're in the end of times right now. The last days, right? Y'all see it going on right now. I don't want to get too off topic, but I'm gonna read this real quick and then we'll finish up the class, right? If thou doest well, verse 7, shalt thou not be accepted, and if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire. The reason why we're going over, you can't serve two masters. This is what Cain ended up doing. Cain ended up serving sin. Why? Because he chose to go against God. The Lord is warning him, like, because you did this thing, where he's questioning him like, if thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? Meaning that, you are supposed to be doing the best, right? You gave your first fruits, right? You're being honorable. You're being truthful, right? So what you mad for? Well, because you're mad, because you're jealous, because you're envious of your brother, guess what? Sin is going to come upon you, and this is what you're going to serve. These shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. When something rules over you, you serve that. God rules over us. So I serve God. But if you are a drug addict, that's what you serve. You serve drugs. Why? Because that's your whole life now. I remember at one point when I was in high school, I knew somebody, he was such an addict that he ended up losing his job because they caught him on camera. I'll never forget this. We were young. I think I was like 16. And I remember he got fired from his job because they caught him on camera and he was stealing out of the cash register. Now, remind you, he works there because he needed more money. More money for what though? This brother at this time, he wasn't driving. He still lived with his parents. He didn't have any bills. So what was so important that you needed to steal money from your job? We ended up finding out later, it was because he wanted to smoke weed. Why? Because he served drugs. That was his sin. The same way Canaan, I keep saying Canaan. Cain, he served sin. The sin was jealous. And that jealousy caused him to do something else. I can't give it away just yet, right? We'll get into that next class, next Saturday, next Sabbath service. We're going to go over the next 7 verses and talk about this other sin that Cain ended up following. I can't say it. I'm just leave it alone. Y'all can read it if you want to, but we're going to get into it next class, right? Those are the last 7 verses, right? But with that being said, I just want to say the water, which means thank you in the Hebrew, for everybody that tuned in. The water for the participation, by the way. I see a lot of people tuned in on YouTube, and I want to say I really appreciate the interactions that y'all are giving because this is class. We're not just here to just talk. We want to teach, right? And to teach, we need students. To be a good student, ask questions. This is not your Christian church. This isn't your Muslim mosque. This isn't nothing like that. You don't just go there, in a black church or whatever, any church for that matter. You go there, they say a couple verses, and they start dancing, especially in the black church. So lock it. They do that all the time. You don't really get to answer questions. I know a lot of times, and y'all all did it, y'all fell asleep during church. Why? Because you're not interacting. Interact. Ask questions. Ask. We want you to ask questions. But for the sake of time, I got to get going. The water for everybody that tuned in. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. For anybody on TikTok, you can follow Hollywood Israelites here. We're in the Isupk Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. And just so we're clear, we are not affiliated with any other Hebrew Israelite group. I got to emphasize that. Follow us on YouTube. We have Isupk Socal on Facebook, and you can also go on Instagram. It's actually in the link on Hollywood Israelites on TikTok. It's also Hollywood Israelites. Again, it's Hollywood Israelites all the way through except for Facebook. So it should be pretty easy to find. We post more information about our classes. But with that being said, shalom to water for everybody that tuned in. And